Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle for Thursday, January 6, 2011. We got a lot to get to today. We've got the box office for Tuesday and Wednesday. We've got some superhero movie news from Hellboy 3, the next Batman movie, and the latest Spider-Man movie. Got some other little bits of news here and there from movies and other fun, including why T.I. Got in trouble for not playing by the rules in prison. So we're going to jump right in, as we said, to the box office. Obviously, with everyone going back to school and returning to work after the New Year holiday, the box office is starting to take a little bit of a dip, but that's no different than any other week going through the week. People wait till the weekend to go see the new movies, so it tends to drop off, but True Grit is still on top. On Tuesday, it made an extra $2.1 million. On Wednesday, it made an extra $1.9 million. It's sitting just north of $93 million. It will cross $100 million probably Friday or Saturday, but I'm going to peg it for Friday for sure. Number 2, we've got Little Fockers. It made over $2 million on Tuesday. It made $1.6 million on Wednesday, so that's sitting at $108 million altogether. It's already going to recoup its cost and expense, so even though it's not as successful as the previous one, it's still making some money. Number 3, Tron Legacy made $1.75 million on Tuesday, and it made an extra $1.4 almost on Wednesday. That's sitting at $136 million right now at the North American box office, but around the world it's got about $240 in the tank. So the $170 million budget is actually going to be recouped on that. So you can expect them to announce a sequel. A while ago they were talking about Cillian Murphy, who was in Batman, which we covered that he might be cast. So hopefully they'll churn that one out. But right now I know they're focusing on the cartoon show for that. So we'll see how well that turns out. Number 4, number 5, once again, the Oscar contenders. Black Swan has pulled ahead a little bit again. It made $1.3 million on Tuesday and $1.2 million on Wednesday. That's sitting just south of $52 million right now. The Fighter made an extra $1.1 million on Tuesday and just under $1 million on Wednesday. That's sitting just south of $50 million. So they continue to track each other well. Still, the Fighter is $2 million behind Black Swan. We'll see how the upcoming award nominations, I know the Golden Globes are being announced in the next 2 weeks, so maybe if one or the other pulls ahead in one of the nomination categories, we'll see if it ends up pulling ahead at the box office as well. Number 6, The King's Speech. It's kind of funny that that one is also an Oscar contender, and it is bumped up to 6 now at this point. It made $800,000 on Tuesday and the same on Wednesday. So it's a little bit lower, but it's still grossing a lot more than expected. Pretty impressive for a movie that's been out for 6 weeks at this point, and you know they really didn't drum up too much interest until the award nominations started coming out around the holidays. So number 7, the Yogi Bear, the family movie, starting to drop off a little bit because all the families are back at school. It made just south of $800,000 on Tuesday and made a little north of $500,000 on Wednesday. That's sitting just under $70 million right now. Its budget's about $80 million, so they shouldn't worry on that one. They still got a few weekends to go. Chronicles of Narnia 3, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, is at number 8. It made just south of $800,000 on Tuesday, and once again just north of $500,000 for Wednesday. It's sitting at almost $90 million at this point, so it's a matter of weeks until it crosses $100 million for sure. Number 9 was The Tourist, making $740,000 on Tuesday and just south of $600,000 on Wednesday. It's not going to be a huge success, but it's starting to do good around the world, which will have the around the world box office coverage for the last week tomorrow when we preview this weekend's box office for America as well, since that's not looking like it's going to be too crazy of a fight. Number 10 is Tangled, which we've got that at $700,000 for Tuesday and $500,000 for Wednesday, so it's taking a dip like all the other family movies. Though that one just crossed $170 million, so it might end up crossing $200 million by the end of its run, since it's been performing a lot stronger than everyone expected it to, having been out for 6 weeks of wide release and still hanging into the top 10. Number 11, Gulliver's Travels. and it's still a little bit of a disappointment in America for Fox to release that. Only made $600,000 on Tuesday and just north of $400,000 on Wednesday. It's sitting under $30 million right now, though it ended up having a #1 worldwide debut. Like we said, we'll cover that tomorrow. Number 12, How Do You Know, made $500,000 on Tuesday and $400,000 on Wednesday. It's gonna crack $30 million, so that means it made back a quarter of its budget. So that's kind of hilarious. That covers the top 12 at the box office for Tuesday and Wednesday. The only other movie to make in the six-figure range was Harry Potter, making almost $450,000 on Tuesday and making $360,000 for the day on Wednesday. Everything else were minuscule performers. So like we said, we'll have coverage of around the world box office and a look at the weekend box office with Country Strong and Season of the Witch, which will be the latest cheesy, awesome Nick Cage movie. We'll have the full details on that. So now we're going to jump right into the latest news coming out from some future blockbusters. With G.I. Joe 2, the director of the original, Stephen Sommers, will not be coming back, even though they announced that he was attached to it when they announced that they were going to be making it a couple months ago. It was kind of surprising then that they said that, considering that there were reports that there was clash between him and the studio in making the first one. Not so surprising now that he's been ditched. The Zombieland scriptwriters are still attached to it. I guess that can only be a good thing, though, because I know a lot of G.I. Joe fans who hated the movie because of how much, how terrible it was compared to the original, I guess. So it can only be good for the studio if they get someone new to do it. Ron Perlman has been out promoting Season of the Witch, which we'll cover the preview of that tomorrow. Going to be awesome, cheesy goodness. But he's been talking potential Hellboy 3 story details, which is kind of weird considering it was reported a while ago that he would never come back for a Hellboy, considering all the makeup and everything like that he had to sit through. I still haven't gotten around to seeing the first one. I did catch the second one while it was in theaters, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, so I can only hope that they do a third one eventually. Spider-Man, they're filming that. Andrew Garfield, the guy from The Social Network, who isn't the main guy. He's the one who almost punches out Justin Timberlake. Yeah, that dude. He's going to be Peter Parker, Spider-Man. It's going to be awesome. There's photos, I guess, that have leaked from the paparazzi of him and Emma Stone in character on set filming. So that's awesome that it's coming along, even though it would have been more awesome if we got Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi, but whatever. And apparently the senior vice president of production at Warner Brothers Pictures has said about The Dark Knight that shooting will start in May. They're going to be shooting in the UK and Los Angeles for sure. They also said there's going to be a third city. The rumor right now, which has been for a while, is that they're going to be filming in New Orleans. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how Gotham changes, considering that they've been filming it in Chicago, and that is what gives it such a distinct look, having done Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. So we'll see if The Dark Knight Rises ends up breaking from the Chicago tradition and having a different Gotham City, or how they decide to handle that one in the long run. So that's the best of the movie news that has been out. Let's get to the award stuff that has come out as well, from the Producers Guild Awards and from the Writers Guild Awards. You know, not the greatest things in the world, the most important, but every award counts. A lot of people are saying the Producers Guild Awards could realistically end up reflecting a good portion of the actual Oscar Best Picture nominations. What we've got is 127 Hours, Black Swan, Inception, The Fighter, The Kids Are All Right, The King's Speech, The Social Network, The Town, Toy Story 3, and True Grit. So those are a lot of the ones that people have pegged as being the strong Oscar contenders. Meanwhile, for the Writers Guild Awards, we've got Black Swan, Inception, The Fighter, The Kids Are All Right, and Please Give as original screenplay nominees. And we have 127 Hours, I Love You, Philip Morris, The Social Network, The Town, and True Grit for adapted screenplay. That one's a little bit more out there with some underrated indie fare, but the other ones could definitely reflect the Oscar nominees when those are announced. So we'll have a comparison of that when it actually comes out. We'll save that little bit for you guys whenever that is announced in the next couple weeks, as the Oscar season really heats up. Now to end today's Daily Dizzle, we've got some some crazy news, and the headline news about T.I. Apparently in Annapolis, Maryland, there were 2 packages that it was originally reported had exploded. Apparently they didn't explode, but they still produced smoke and odors when they were opened at 2 separate state buildings. Of course, Maryland authorities and the FBI are responding to that, but the 2 cities were 20 miles apart. Good to see that that Homeland Security, for all their invasion of privacy, can really keep up on making sure things don't happen. So now, to close out the Daily Dizzle with the headline news, T.I. the other day apparently was getting a visit from his wife Tiny at Arkansas State Prison, when Tiny was found to be in violation of prison rules for her show of affection towards her husband. While they are visiting in the penitentiary, you're allowed to kiss and embrace while you're chatting. Hands, you can hold them. They gotta be visible. Apparently, Tiny didn't like being away from her husband, though, and let the hands wander a little bit. Oh, God. So, yeah, he's now in the special housing unit of the jail, which is for prisoners with code of conduct violations, so that he doesn't get as much freedom, that he gets higher security standards for getting a hand job from his wife. Funniest thing is, I bet if he got a hand job from another inmate, this would have been totally alright. And the government wonders why, they're trying to stop gay marriage and why it's not going to be successful when they're kind of contributing to it with those kind of standards, right? Anyways, that's all we've got for the Daily Dizzle today. Tomorrow we've got the worldwide box office coverage of Gulliver's Travels going to the top, surprisingly. We will also have the preview of the weekend box office, as well as Tommy Dizzlemit's own personal predictions for the weekend wild card games, which I will be thoroughly enjoying while thoroughly drunk this weekend on my awesome, awesome 4-day weekend. Yay! I like being off from work. So thank you guys, as always, for joining us on the Daily Dizzle. If this is your first time, you can check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Dizzlemits, or you can just click the username. You could also just type in Dizzlemits on the search bar and bring up whatever, though all those results are also listed in the loaded suggestions, so once you're done here, you can either catch up on any of the editions that you've missed, or you can check out some of our original content. We've got some good music video montages from some awesome movies, like The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Adventureland, Superbad, Ghostbusters, tons more. Give those a look and see if there's anything that catches your eye that you like. Keep coming back. We'll have a new edition tomorrow. We'll also have the weekend update at some point during this weekend, probably in between the wild card games, just to show just how pissed off I am by the results of some of those games. So thank you again for joining us. We hope we'll see you tomorrow. Check us out. Give us some likes and shit like that, because those are always good. Once again, for the Daily Dizzle, I am Tommy Dizzlemits. We will see you tomorrow.